Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not. Hey. Oh, okay. So I said I didn't know when I was going to do another video, but I forgot about The Flash. And honestly, if I had skipped this episode, other than a few character developments and something in the end, I don't think it would have mattered. This episode was pretty much what I expected. It was filler. Nothing but filler, and I wasn't even invested in the episode at all. I did not care for the episode, and but now I gotta sit here and make a review. I gotta talk about it. I don't want. I don't want. Alright, so The Flash Season 9, Episode 6, The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky. The Good, the Bad, and the Filler. Basically. So, Barry and Iris aren't in this episode except for the beginning and the end. Standard filler format. We get rid of Barry and Iris for a little bit of time. You know, beginning and at the end, and that's it. We really spend our time with the rest of Team Flash. Key characters here are Cecile and Allegra, which is fine. I don't hate them like the rest of the Flash fans do. That, you know, big plan. Oh, why do we focus on these characters? It's the Flash. A TV show, no matter what it's called, focuses on all its main characters. Okay? So even though it's called The Flash, it doesn't always have to just focus on The Flash. Okay? And that was a complaint about Arrow, is that they liked it when it was just the three members, and then when it started to expand, people got pissed, you know. You know what? A show expands. More characters are added to it. And more focus will be on those characters. Deal with it, or stop watching. And that's another thing that I keep complaining about. That people bitching about stuff in groups. If you don't like it, why watch and why complain about it? Well, we have a right to voice our opinion. Yes, you do have a right to voice your opinion. But if you don't like something, stop watching it. Why do you keep watching it if all you're going to do is complain about everything that happens? That's my point. You have a right to voice your opinion, but if you're not liking what you're seeing, stop watching. So then, because at this point, you know you're going to complain about it. So all you're going to do is sit there and watch and complain about it. Okay? So now let me complain about this episode. So we actually start off with exposition from Becky Sharp, who died in season 4, but due to that magical Deus Ex Machina known as Crisis, we just wrote her back into it. Look, I am sick and tired of bringing back characters just cause Crisis. It's the same thing for, you know, post season 3 with, oh, why is this different? Flashpoint, it's the same thing now. It's become something to go back to. We can bring this character back and say she didn't die because Crisis. It's lazy writing. It's lazy writing, and people are like, there was pictures, you know, of her that she was coming back, and it's like, how is she still alive? Obviously, it's gonna be because of Crisis, and they do. But the problem is, she just said, "Oh, I had a little crisis." They don't explain, because you can't just. My whole frustration with this is, oh, Crisis, okay. So now they've explained that there's no multiverse connection. So how does Zoom work in season 2? They don't explain that. They just say that there's no multiverse, and they were, I don't know. I don't think they really even explain. And now characters come back and are different, but they don't, like Roy G. Bigelow. He's supposed to be dead, and he's just brought back. No explanation needed. Just Crisis. And the same thing with her. Crisis. You just say it was Crisis and move on. No, I need more explanation. Why? What went differently? I need to know what went differently with DeVoe. Because, you know, And the fact that our main characters just just kind of moved off, they're like, you know, just kind of go with it and don't question anything. Just like, oh, okay, she's back. No, no. And I had thought when her appearance, she was gonna come back that she was gonna play a bigger part, not be a stupid ass filler episode. That I figured out two big things as soon as the problem was presented. Okay, so, well, actually, it took a couple of things that I was gonna pop off. But okay, so the thing with Becky is now she's unlucky again. She's having bad luck, and the worst bad luck ever. She had good luck. She even found love of her life, and then she's having a whole bunch of bad luck, which meets up with the her fiance found unconscious and in a coma, and she's somehow found responsible. By the way, they don't actually explain who put him into a coma. I mean, they explain who was responsible for the bad luck, but I don't know. But they introduced the brother-in-law, the guy's brother, and from the minute he started talking and everything, the way he started mentioning about the gambling thing, I'm like, no, he did it. He's like, oh, she says he doesn't do that stuff. He doesn't gamble. The fiance, and he's like, oh well, he didn't want to tell you, but he had a secret gambling thing, and he got in a big debt. I'm like, nah, you're full of shit. It's you. You did it. And of course it was him. In fact, I kept saying to myself, it's gonna end up being the brother, right? This whole episode, like I said, I'm sitting on the couch going, I'm slumped over the entire time because I don't care. I'm like, it's when it was revealed that they're like the brother-in-law, and I'm like, yep, yep, it's all coming. And the other thing was, Allegra's having troubles with her landlord. She's having problem with hot water. She can't get hot water. Chuck said he's gonna come check it out, but she's having problems. I didn't read anything in there, but I didn't pick up anything there. But Cecile, this is the first of the weekends. She's gonna go stay with Joe and Jenna in she says home, but it's the cabin in the woods. It's not the cabin in the country. It's not home. I don't know, but she's having struggles. She doesn't want to take the case right away. She says, "Oh, we can wait till Monday." Had she waited, it probably would have been worse than her helping. But yeah, and she takes Becky's case, and she ends up missing her her train to get out there. So, and then it's revealed that she's sleeping in the office because she doesn't want to go back to the house because it's a big house and she's all alone. And she's so lonely. And I went, so Allegra's moving in. And I'll be damned. In the episode, she asks Allegra to move in. So, yeah, the two things, like the mystery of who did it, I figured out right away. And I pretty much knew that Allegra was going to move in anyway. Yeah, the side story here is that Mark is trying to teach Guillaume how to use her powers. However, she can't seem to muster anything. He tries to get her to use cold powers, which Mark, you just assume she has them. I don't know. But she had something when she brought him back. And then it snows. I thought it was going to be revealed that Mark was the meta. But I don't know how that would work. Because it's always when she's around him. And I wonder if there's that connection. If it's whenever she's around him, something happens. Although we do find out some interesting, in a post-credit scene, which to me was, not post-credit, you know what I mean, the little cliffhanger thing, which to me was, like, the only important thing that you need to know from the episode. But yeah, of course it's revealed to be the brother-in-law, and there's this device that negates powers, and so or reverses them, I guess, throws them back at him. So it's in her wedding ring, or her engagement ring, which the brother was with when they picked it out, and so it's causing her to have bad luck instead of good luck. My big problem is, she's standing there like she's a prisoner. Why doesn't she just go? Like, she has to know that the ring is what's causing it at this point. Because even once Cecile pulls the ring off, she's like, So she knows. So why, when she's dealing with blackjack, she has to just go and do it that way? Because the brother is the one that's in debt. So he's having her with the bad luck, so he gets, you know what I mean? He gets all the blackjack and all the winnings and all the money. And I don't know. It's so convenient that this gambling thing happens to be at O'Shaughnessy's, because like we never heard of any gambling stuff there before, and all of a sudden it's just they hold a secret gambling thing there, which I guess O'Shaughnessy is a dive bar, so it could happen, but I don't know. It's a little much of a coincidence, a little too easy to just say, oh, it's O'Shaughnessy's. Again, probably lazy writing, I don't know. Anyone else have a problem with Kramer only being in like 5 minutes of each episode? Like, last episode, she was like barely in, and she's the chief of police or captain of the police station. And here, she brings in Cecile and then just fucks off. Like, she's gone. Like, I don't know. It's bugging me. She is the captain, and she's had less screen time than Singh. Singh had more screen time in his appearances throughout the 5 seasons he was prominent as captain. And now, I don't know. But yeah, anything else to talk about in this fucking episode? Look, I kept getting pissed because it's one of those episodes where we have to keep prolonging the episode, because if we don't, it'll be over. And what I mean is, like, these guys show up to kidnap Becky, and okay, Allegra's got powers, or Cecile's gonna use her powers, which we know are very powerful, and it doesn't do anything. The explanation is because she's too caught up in this whole getting to Joe and Jenna thing that she can't concentrate, she can't get her powers to work. Yeah, but that's just lazy writing so that you can stretch out the episode. Because she can take those guys away, she's Cecile. No, she's got to have problems with them. She can't use them because she's too nervous about Joe and Jenna. Even though it's never ever been implied that her powers work from her emotions like that. Like, I know she can sense other people's emotions, but it's never stated before that her emotions stop her from using her own powers. They said, well, then this is the first time I do it. No, they did it so that they can, again, lazy writing, so that they can stretch the episode out. And then later, when Lego tries to use her powers, magically they had this thing that throws it back at him. And Cecile tries to do it, and she throws a fire extinguisher, which is never good CGI, and it just, like, and they're using the bad luck thing too, but it's not really bad luck thing, it's Cecile's thing, but, like, I don't know. Every time something happens, I'm like, ugh. And already, I just didn't care for this episode at all. Let's talk about the only good thing about this episode, okay? And that's the cliffhanger thing, okay? I'm like, Barry and I was coming back at the end of the episode, and they're having a baby shower. Who cares? So, the cliffhanger, Chester has run some tests, and it sees that there's no dark matter or cryo-free stuff in her. So she's not a meta. But also, he's checked the chromosomes, and I guess she has missing 55 of the 6 chromosomes needed to be human. So she's not human. They don't know what she is. But she, not a meta, but she has some sort of powers. And again, I wonder if that's connected to Mark, because it always happens whenever they're next to each other. If it's some kind of connection that they have or something. He was there when she was made. I don't know. And a lot of people are mad. Why can't we just have Caitlyn? It's the last season. Why can't we just name Caitlyn? Look, Eric Wallace and the writers have said that this character is important to taking on the big bad villain at the end of the season. And we know from set photos that she's going to be out in the field doing something. So she's going to get some kind of power, you know. The only problem I have with this, her not being human, they used Caitlyn's body. So how do they explain that she's not human if they use Caitlyn's body, which is human? The only way I can see this happening is if they explain that Caitlyn's body is still out there somewhere, and that's how they bring Caitlyn back. That I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's a way to bring Caitlyn back because she's not human, so the real human Caitlyn is somewhere. I don't know. Now there's no episode next week. No episode next week. So that's a break. There's no review next week for the Flash. So there's that for you. So you get a week free of me talking about the Flash, but I don't know. I've said it in my previous season reviews, but ever since Eric Wallace took over, the filler has just been real nothing. There's nothing. Like, even some of the earlier seasons when there was filler, they had some inkling of an overarching story. Like, even with some of the filler in earlier seasons, there was still some overarching stuff where the end would have something to do with overarching bad. But with his graphic novel bullshit, he does graphic novel, then filler. But that filler is unconnected to any ongoing story because you're doing the graphic novel. So now it just becomes unnecessary to anything. You try to further development with the whole Keone stuff, but in the end, that's the only important thing in the episode. And it's at the end of the episode where we have this big old thing of filler that no one's going to care about. You know what I mean? Like, do filler episodes, but like I explained, okay? You do filler episodes, but have an overarching story so that you can sprinkle stuff from the overarching villain in there. Now it's the last season's, but yeah, ever since Eric Wallace took over and he's doing this graphic novel stuff, the fillers have been nothing. They're nothing. They have no importance. The only thing I can say is the one from last season where Barry finds there's another speedster. That was a filler that had some kind of connection. Other than that, though, there was nothing else. It was, unimportant. It was Allegra and them stuck in CC Media. That's it. And this one just, I don't think either of the subplots they were putting to us were important, except for maybe the Keone stuff. But again, we don't get that revelation till the end, so it's not really like they were putting story threads with that. Anyway, but I'm gonna get going. I'm sick of talking about this episode. I didn't like it very much, as you can tell, but yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this episode of The Flash? In the comments below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Watching, I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.